Hi guys! Welcome to a little bit more of a chit-chattier type of video with me. So in today's video we're not diving into fragrances. If you guys are not into these kind of more chit-chatty real videos with YouTubers, like maybe this one is not for you. But I don't know, I like making chit-chat sometimes, kind of like making stuff about my own life and like vlogging, basically vlogging. That's what I like to do. Meant vlogging. I don't know why I said blogging. Anyway, just like so many things have happened in this year, and I feel like because it's New Year, a new year, new me, haha, nah. Plot twist, spoiler alert, I'm still me, normal me, with regular old problems, and nothing's changed, honestly, even though it's a new year. Yeah, I felt like maybe kind of like reminiscing about last year, doing a little chit chat type of thing, just to kind of like talk with you guys. I don't know. And for me personally, last year was kind of one of the toughest years, honestly, that I've had in like last, let's say 5-7 years. And like it was a kind of like journey of self-discovery also, but not in a good way, okay? I mean, I had some struggles. All I wanted was snuggles, and I got struggles, so relatable. Last year, like, well, a lot of good things also happened. Like, for example, I got into school, okay? That was really cool. I studied for half a year. Things went well, but then kind of started my downfall type of thing. I started to get a little depressed at some point after summertime. I had this kind of a really big thing in my life where I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And that was a huge thing for me, honestly. I've always had some sort of like depression periods in my life, but I never knew I had bipolar. And bipolar is super weird because you have these kind of ups and downs in it if you're not medicated correctly. And I wasn't at some point. And I think one of the reasons why I went to school was because I was a little bit manic, I think, when I made the decision to go to school. And then during this kind of autumn to winter time, I got a little depressed, and honestly I've been a little depressed lately. I've been having this kind of time when I've been like fortifying into my own home, and I just don't go out a lot, and I feel like that hasn't been very good for my mental health, honestly. And like I noticed that the school life probably isn't for me. So as I said, a year of discovery. I tried to study and I tried to keep up with everybody else, but I noticed that my mental health has been declining when I've been studying. So when I was at work, like I feel like I was way more balanced, and it felt like there was way less stress. Honestly, I feel like studying is really, really hard, and people don't talk about that a lot. Like, people always think that studying is way easier than going to work, and I absolutely disagree. I think that studying is way harder for people, honestly, because you have all these deadlines all the time. Nothing is ever always done. Like, you have something going on every day almost that you need to do, and you have a deadline, and there are some group projects and they take time and kind of like planning, and you need to be really good at like organizing your schedule during like studying, and you're always being tested also, which is like one of the things that like really upset me because I don't know, I'm just not good with managing my time and like managing my stress levels when there's this kind of uncertainty. Like I hate uncertainty in my life. I love routine. Routine makes me always feel better. Routine always makes me feel more stable. And when I lack routine, and when things are like unfinished all the time, that kind of sets me off. You know, like I get these kind of like depressive and anxious episodes, and I feel like that's what's been going on lately. And I guess something has happened like really nicely also, or like I've come a long way because I can like recognize that, because I used to just get like super depressed and burned out, and I wasn't able to notice it myself. But I feel like now like I can notice the signs way earlier, and like I've been noticing the signs for a couple of months that I've been burning out a little bit and with schoolwork, and I kind of came into decision of returning to work instead of like doing school, and that's a real kind of a bummer. But I just feel like with like being diagnosed with bipolar and kind of like trying to find that balance in my life and trying to find that kind of like stability in my life, like it's been real hard this year. Because like, for example, my medication history, like at first we weren't able to find anything that stabilized me. Now I'm on a medication that actually does stabilize me, with quite little side effects. But at first, like, it was real hard finding a good medication, and it took almost a year, and all that time I was a little unstable. And yeah, it's kind of something that makes me real sad, like that I guess I need to kind of just face the fact that maybe I'm not as capable as someone without bipolar. Like maybe I'm not as capable of studying and doing work at the same time and doing all these things at the same time as someone without bipolar. And it's really a bummer, because I don't want my illnesses to like define me or anything. But it's a real deal that when you have some sort of illness where you lack constant stability all the time, and you have these mood changes from hypomania or mania to like depression, it's real hard to keep your life stable if the other blocks in your life are not stable. Like, for example, I don't think schoolwork is stable. I feel like it's stress all the time, it's uncertainty all the time, it's so much like stress about like tests, as I said, and deadlines. So I'm just kind of finding maybe I'm not supposed to be studying, at least now that I'm still pretty new with my diagnosis. And it was really a shock when I was diagnosed. Like it really shocked me, because I know that many people with this illness can't even go to work. Like they're unable to do anything kind of like no school, no work, that kind of stuff. And I got real scared of like getting into such a low point where I couldn't work or couldn't go to school. Like I've always felt like it's really important to do something and be like kind of like benefiting the society in some way. I don't know, I have this kind of pressure that I should, and I've always had that pressure. And yeah, it's kind of, it's been eating me alive a little bit, you know. And yeah, I've come to conclusion that I think I need to kind of find the balance in my life and kind of like find the kind of like happiness and contentness, is that the word? Like being content in my own way and not base it on societal norms, because I can't, okay? I'm not a straight A student, I'm not a super baller type of like, yay, grind set. No, Like absolutely not. I'm kind of a mentally ill bitch with her issues that flare up from one time to another, and then I'm stable and then I'm not. And yeah, like I guess I've been having this problem where I've tried to strive to be more well than I am. Like I've tried to kind of keep up with normal people a lot of the times, and but I gotta like be realist about the stuff that, like, yeah, I think it's good that I can, for example, work. Like work does not stress me out. I can work 8 hours a day and come home and it does not like stress me out. I can do that and I can like, you know, that doesn't stress me out. But obviously being in school stresses me out like shit ton. So like I guess I gotta count my losses or something. Yeah. So yeah, that this year, things that happened this year, okay? Like I got into school, I studied, I noticed that maybe it's not for me. And maybe even the kind of thing that I've been like studying, I feel like I wouldn't be able to be stable enough to do that kind of job, because the job I was studying for was like really tough. It's a tough job, okay? And I just feel like maybe I'm not cut out to do it when I actually think about things. And now that I have the diagnosis and stuff, like, yeah, that happened. Then my therapy ended, which like it was real good for me, the therapy, and I feel like I made some progress. Like a lot of progress has been happening, and I can nowadays like really easily notice when I get like tired or stuff, and I can like regroup and do things. Like that's all because of therapy. Like I've come such a long way, but also I feel like not everything got better during the therapy, and maybe I would like, if I went back to therapy, like I feel like there would be more work to do with me. But yeah, my therapy ended. That was a big thing. I went to therapy for 3 years and I finished it and stopped going, and I've been kind of on my own after that. And yeah, it's been a little tough to be real. Then me and my boyfriend moved to our own apartment, and I've never owned an apartment, and like this is the first time ever of me like owning something that big, and all the responsibility that comes with like owning a property and like paying the bank every month and things like, yeah. And like the whole moving has been stressful. Like I feel like I've stressed out about cleaning up the old apartment and like doing things. There's been a lot of things that's happened to me, and I also lost my best friends. Like they didn't die, they moved to another city, but now at this moment like I don't have any friends here. So it's been a kind of like cumulative experience of many stressors that have been happening this year. And I guess like I'm just feeling like this wasn't a good year for me. Like last year wasn't a good year for me. I feel like a lot of things happened that honestly kind of threw me out of balance, and like I'm just hoping that this year will be a little bit better. And I feel like it will be, honestly, because I feel like I've come a long way and I've made some decisions and that I regret, but I've regrouped after, and I've like kind of like stopped when I had to and reoriented myself. And I've been also learning so many new skills. Like I've, for example, learned this year to do my finances way better, like how to keep my finances good, like adulting. Like I've kind of like learned that, and I've learned to take care of my own home better and things like that. Like I've also learned so many like good skills this year, so it's not been all bad, honestly. But I just feel like I kind of fell off the wagon a little bit when I got diagnosed, and when I had that mania. Like it just kind of like, it kind of crumbled my life a little bit, because it was such a shock. Okay, it was such a like I don't know, like, because anytime you have to go treated to a hospital, and like it's a real like hassle, and you feel so out of control that it feels like a failure. Like I felt like I was a failure because I had mania, even though like you can't control it in any other way but that just eating your meds correctly, and because I wasn't medicated, like that was not possible. So yeah, this year's been tough, but I'm so happy that like I got through it, and I feel like next year might actually be better. Yeah, I kind of have this feeling like it's gonna be like, I feel more stable, because I have like, now I have the medication that works pretty good for me, and I feel like that's kind of making a lot of changes, and I decided that I'm gonna do a lot of changes this year. I'm not gonna go on that bullshit of like promising anything for New Year. Like none of that New Year, new me bullshit. I mean, if you like that, like good for you. But I'm just not that type. Like if I promise myself something, I'm just gonna like feel really stressed about it. So I'm not gonna make any promises for this year, because I'm not gonna be able to keep them if I make like a super promise about something. Like it's not gonna go that way. But I feel like maybe I can like take steps to right direction. Like for example, one of the things that I've decided is that I'm gonna keep eating my medication no matter what. Like I'm gonna keep trying to take care of myself. And I've also decided that I'm not gonna stay in my house all the time anymore. Like I'm gonna go out and do things. Like I decided that I need to be making friends and doing things and going out, and not like barricading myself into my apartment, because that's not healthy for me. I also decided that if things get hard, I'm gonna go back to therapy. And I decided that I'm gonna quit school, which is like, whoa. But yeah, I'm trying to kind of keep myself stable and sane throughout everything. And yeah, it's not always easy. It's not always easy, and sometimes I feel like I'm such a fucking loser, because like I don't know how to do this. I don't know how a 33-year-old woman should live her life, and I feel like I'm not able to get to that level where people would think where I would be. But I guess I guess I don't have to get on that level. Like it's just something built inside of me. Like my expectations are too high at this moment, and I just gotta regulate that shit, you know. That's how I feel. So yeah, that's my chit chat for today, and I hope you guys related or something. And yeah, it just feels good to kind of like get that shit out sometimes, and it's almost like making a diary entry type of thing, but more interactive. So that's why I like these chit chats. And I hope you guys' new year is gonna be better than the last one. Like I guess everybody hopes that, right? But yeah, keep going at it. You've been keeping going all this time, and you can do it again. You can do it just every day, again and again, and it gets better at some point, okay? Like nothing lasts forever, right? So yeah, I hope you guys like this video, and I see you guys in my next one. Yeah. Bye.